All right, so you can see I have all my fletching stuff over here. Right now we're gonna work on getting our inserts put into the arrows. So let's get those opened. Leave the nocks in there. Make sure all these are 100 grains, exactly 100, exactly 100, and exactly 100. Now let's weigh our arrows and make sure they're all about the same. 3593, 360, 360. Okay, they're all within a grain of each other, so that means these things are perfect. Now, let me go get some acetone. We'll get these cleaned up, and we will go ahead and get these inserted. All right, so the way I'm going to be doing this is I'm just going to go ahead and put these on my broadheads, so that way I have somewhere to grab these guys after I get them all acetoned off. Now, if you're going to do this, be extremely careful, because Toughhead doesn't joke when they say these things are sharp. I mean, just they are sharp. In fact, that's the sharpness guarantee they give you right there. That's the card that they show where they tested them. So let's go on ahead and get these guys all done up. Probably way more than I need. Whew, stuff is strong. Just nail polish remover, 100% acetone, so that's gonna take care of all the oils and everything on here. Oh, can't really touch it and then expect all the oils to be off, so I'll go ahead and put that back. Wait a couple minutes for those to dry and make 100% sure they're dry. While I'm waiting for those to dry, we're going to go ahead and mix up some epoxy. Again, this is the 15-minute epoxy from JB Weld. Woo! She was kind of stuck. That's way more than I'm going to need probably, so we will go ahead and put this back on. Now, I got a stir stick here, and we'll go ahead and get this all mixed in. Actually going to just snap that off so I have something to apply with. This will just be my stirring stick. Just keep all your mess in one spot. All right, now we're going to take this arrow this out of the way, this out of the way. You're gonna take your broadhead with your insert on it, and I'm gonna lather this up with a good amount of epoxy. I should probably get myself a couple paper towels here, ready to go. So that way when I do have some squeeze out, we can go ahead and address that. Get your arrow turner ready. Another reason for me putting these broadheads on here is so that way when I do get it put in, I can go ahead and spin it and see if I can make sure it's all aligned. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Now, that is way too much on there, so I'm gonna knock some of it off. I'm gonna take this arrow and kind of spin as I push it on. Kind of wipe off this excess before I push it up onto the broadhead, because I do not want that epoxy to permanently affix this broadhead to the arrow. All right. All right, now let's take a look. I'll put this plate underneath, make sure you all get a good view of this. With it sitting over that white, let's go ahead and spin it. Looks like it's close. About perfect right there. You can just see that arrow just spins. You don't hear any chatter, nothing like that where the arrow's jumping around. So we're gonna take that and we're just gonna set it over here to the side and let that finish up. Now we're gonna take our next one, do the exact same thing. So let's go ahead and do it. You can already feel this getting a little bit thicker on these, so I am going to have to hurry on these next couple here. Spinning perfect right there. important thing to know here is when you put your arrows up to set up, don't put your nocks in. Your nocks will actually push air into the shaft, which is an open hollow tube there, and it will actually push your insert out of your arrow just slightly. So make sure to leave your nocks out when you go to do this. Whew, it's getting gummy. That one is already spinning really good. All right, no adjustments needed. That's 3 arrows with inserts in them. Now we'll wait for that epoxy to set up, and it'll probably be tomorrow after I shoot them bare shaft with some 200 grain inserts to make sure that they fly and do bullet holes through paper. And then we will mark which way we want up. And then once we mark that, we will get them fletched. So we'll see you all tomorrow to get all these guys fletched up. All right, so we got everything ready to go for tomorrow. We're going to bare shaft tune these arrows with some regular field points. Don't shoot them with the broadhead, they will go all wonky. Make sure, one big tip, when you're doing your inserts, do not put your nock in the end. When you do that, it actually rams air in and will push this insert out just a little bit, but it makes your arrows inconsistent if you do that. So, with that said, we're ready to go. Tomorrow I have a friend coming over, we're gonna be shooting arrows, and I'm gonna nock tune these, and then tomorrow night, I'm going to fletch these. So, we'll get these all prepared tomorrow night, and we'll get our fletching jig out, and we'll get everything done. Hope you all enjoyed it. Let's get on to tomorrow. All right, everyone, so we have finally gotten all these arrows nock tuned. I got these 3 nock tuned, so now it is time to fletch. It's a couple days after I took that first little shot of us getting these all epoxied in, the inserts all epoxied in. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do now is get these set and ready for fletching. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna soak this up with a little bit of acetone. Go ahead and close that before I spill it. I'm gonna take and just clean the shaft of the arrow. And here in a second, you will see they are quite dirty. Just because they sit in there and they rub on each other in the packaging and things like that, and just dust and everything. And I'm sure there's just base layers from manufacturing that get stuck on them. Make sure they are all cleaned off. And for me, I am putting, there's a little notch on this, that is going towards me because that is the way that the arrow, when I draw back, that is going to be setting straight up. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take our fletching, and I've decided to go with this green for my cock feather. We're going to slide it back until it just lines up with the back end of this jig right here. So I've decided that I'm going to be setting it. And then I'm also going to be using this line here on this jig to line up my feather, or my vane, because I guess they're not technically feathers. Now what we're going to do is we're going to just coat this in some super glue. I went with the Loctite super glue gel, and so that's what I'm going to be using. And I'm just putting little dots all the way down it. On this, I think I'd rather have a little bit too much than not enough, because if I have too much, it'll squeeze out. If I don't have enough, it won't put my vein down. So then I go through and I kind of just semi-smooth it all out so I don't have any spots where I'm not gonna have any glue. And if I see any like low spots, I'll just go back through and put a little dot. Again, this is probably way too much glue, but I can always wipe it off after I get the vein set. Next, I'm going to lock in the right side here. Line up where I want my vein to be. Hold these first two tabs. Go ahead and set it down and just push down firmly. Make sure you keep one finger steady at one time. So I go up, 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 because if you do both down at the same time and that super glue isn't set, it'll actually move your jig. Just hold it firm for 5-10 seconds here. And after that, I should be able to wiggle that off. Actually have a little bit push out onto the jig here. Do my best to clear that before it sets. Go ahead and wipe the edges down. I'm gonna probably leave the front and back so that way it has a little bit more security on that front and back part of that fletching. We turn. And just like that, we go on to the next one. Now I'm going to be using black. Again, you'll stick it in. Clear off the excess super glue on the back. There we go. Go on ahead and get my glue going. Go ahead and line it up again. Go ahead and make sure you got good pressure down on that arrow, shaft, and the vein. There we go, we got another one done. I'm going to take you through this first full arrow, and then after that we'll do a time lapse on the rest of them. And last vein here is going to be another black. Right there. I just did exactly what I told you not to do. Move both fingers and my vein actually slid down the arrow before it was set. Make sure you do not do that, especially with this jig, because it does slide up and down, up and down. Some jigs don't. Some jigs just slide in straight from the side, and they are going to allow you just to go right onto the arrow. And this one is not that way, so just make sure you do that. All right, and that is going to be our first arrow done. Not the prettiest, and I'm going to have to do a little bit of cleanup on them, but for my very first set of arrows that I'm fletching out, I'm not too upset with the way that one looks. As I get better, I think they're going to be more precise and more perfect. Yeah. Looks good. All right, we're gonna go into a time lapse, get these other two arrows done, and once I get done with them, we'll come back. Well, as you can see, we're done fletching these arrows. These are the first arrows that I've ever fletched personally, and so I used these two out of the Ranch Fairy kit as my tester arrows, and those came out pretty decent. So I went ahead and fletched the rest of them up, and these are the arrows that I'm going to be using this year. One of them did come out a little rough. It's this one here. I don't know why, but the tip on it is really, on this fletching here, really just doesn't want to stick. So I'll probably have to eventually come back, cut that off if I can't get that to stick down properly. But these two came out really, really nice. We're going to be shooting 200 grain serious tough heads on the front. It's the Ranch Fairy edition. It's a little bit longer than the Tough Head Evolution 2.0, and the reason for that is it gives you a better angle of attack. They are extremely sharp, as you saw in the beginning of this video, and so I'm really, really stoked to be shooting some high FOC, heavy grain weights. I'll be posting exactly how much my arrow setup is later. We're going to be doing a bag dump, what we're going to be bringing into the woods this year, come closer to season, so that way you all know exactly what we're doing. But hopefully this is a great start to the season. Here soon, I'm going to be fletching up Logan's arrows, and I will be doing a little bit better job on those than I did on mine. have a little more practice. So anyways, hopefully you all have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.